Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Ricknineg. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to do another video focusing on my journey to my private pilot's license. In case you stumbled upon this video by accident, don't forget to take a look at the other ones first. I would highly suggest that, because then you can see the trajectory of how I got here, the pitfalls, the struggles, but also the successes and everything else. So, a few things I have to get through today, just to let you know that today, as I'm speaking, I had a lesson the day before. So I don't know how I'm going to space out these two videos because basically they have back to back. I might space them out a little bit so you won't probably see them uploaded back to back. And so just keep that in mind. Yesterday was a kind of a day where I would say half of it was pretty good. I felt very confident in terms of flying, or at least confident for the most part. But then about halfway during the flight, about an hour in, just after doing a lot of the same maneuvers, I felt that I just gave out. Like my body, my mind, everything gave out. Kind of like if you've been holding a weight for too long and then it's just like, you're still holding it, but your muscles just fatigue and your arms going down. Kind of like that. Not like I couldn't hold the control stick, but it was like my brain and everything shut off. And it got to the point where my instructor was like, Rick, he was repeating things and I'm like, Sam, I think I hit a brick wall. I think I'm at the point where we gotta head back. And he was very helpful with that. He was like, don't worry, let's go back. And he was like, would you like to help me land the plane? And I was like, really, no, I would just like to be all hands off. He's like, okay, no problem. And so he was really understanding of that. Again, if you guys know any idea, or maybe some of your psychologists, or maybe some of you know about this, or I was a teacher myself, and I'm not really familiar with what it is, but it seems like mental fatigue. That's the best way I can explain it. And so it wasn't like I gave up, it was just like I couldn't anymore. I wasn't as sharp. I felt like my reflexes were a lot slower, and I just couldn't. I was just doing a poor job, and I could understand. I was literally struggling to do the most basic things. And so today, hopefully it's better. Hopefully I'm not at that point. It's a new day. I had a good amount of sleep. And so, yeah, hopefully things are okay. I also woke up with this ear thing, which is weird. I've never really had this. And so if I speak loudly, I can hear, it's like my ears clog, but not really. It's like a ringing if I hear anything like that. And if I cover my ear, I hear like a high-pitched noise. I don't know what that means. I check my blood pressure. I'm okay. I don't feel bad. It's just the ear thing. So we'll see how it happens today. I just want to report all these things to you to let you know that things come up. Everything isn't so dilly-dally, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory perfection. Things happen, things come up, and this is part of the journey. So hopefully you enjoy this. Hopefully this resonates with you. But I'm excited. I'm still excited to get back into the plane. Not excited to get to that mental fatigue, but hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully I keep training enough where I'll be okay. And last note, my last lesson yesterday, that was a month gap between that and my last flight. So again, that was not purposeful. It was just because of all the cancellations, weather, and etc. I explained that in the past videos. But yeah, so I have to keep that in mind. I have to cut myself some slack, and I'm still learning here. So we'll see you guys a little bit, and we'll go flying. Guys and gals, to do a little bit of post commentary on this. I'll pretty much skip over the pre-flight inspection because I've covered that before, maybe get to it in another video. I just want to get right into the plane because today we did a lot of traffic patterns, which means takeoff, you make a rectangular left-handed turn around the airport in a pretty controlled way, and you come back in for landing, quick takeoff, and you repeat. So we did a lot of those landings and it was pretty fun. We did a total of 6, but I'm not going to show you all 6. I'm just going to highlight a few and tell you some things that you might be interested in hearing. We are taxiing from the flight school right now to the run-up. Again, I won't show you the entire run-up sequence, but I do have to say there is a very prominent improvement here that I have been doing with taxiing. Of course you can see, and this is pretty good because it's a pretty tricky thing. I can tell you that I feel almost 100% confident of everything that I'm doing on the ground, including radios, taxiing, getting the plane started on my own. Pretty much Sam has no input into that, meaning that I've done it pretty much okay. There are no errors there, and I'm very confident. What I'm really trying to hone are those landings, taking off, and the traffic patterns, which include going from a takeoff position, turning left to the crosswind, turning left again to the downwind, turning left one more time to the base, and turning left the final time for the final approach right before you land the plane. Now, I do want you to hear this, guys and gals. It's going to be a little bit hard to hear. I'm going to turn up as much as I can. There will be a little bit of interference from, of course, the propeller and the engine going, but this is me talking to the tower, requesting clearance to take off on runway 21. So if you listen very carefully, you can hear me go through the spiel, and I did pretty good. Santa Monica Tower, lights for 801 Papa Sierra, holding short of 21 at Bravo 5, left close traffic. Clear for takeoff, 801 Papa Sierra. Now this is to clarify, this is me taking off the plane, everything from throttle to keeping the right rudder so that we keep straight on the center line, and of course rotating at 50 knots. Now we have a noise abatement procedure here that means that we have to fly over a golf course to avoid making a lot of noise over the homes in the Santa Monica area. Once we reach that road that you can see on the left hand side, then you can begin turning to the left, which is called the crosswind phase of a traffic pattern. And now you can see we begin our second turn here. This will begin our downwind, which of course means that we are going downwind instead of upwind, and that's how we take off. Basically here I'm trying to find parallel to the runway. I don't want to be too far or too close to the airport itself. You can see it on the left hand side. Now it's been almost a month and a half since I've done a traffic pattern, so Sam is pointing out a few things. He's pointing out that I'm going a little bit too fast and I have to reduce my RPM to keep it below 5,000, as well as I'm trying to keep my eye on when I start to slow down and lower flaps. Before that I have to slow down to about 75 knots before I can lower the flaps, so that I can start my descent toward the base, which is the second to last turn. After flying a little bit more, you can see that I'm making my third left turn here. By this time I have lowered the flaps. You can see there's a significant lower speed that the airplane is going in. I'm trying the entire time to pitch for 60 knots. That is the speed that you want to basically land at. No matter what is happening with the plane, you want to also make sure that you are not too high or too low. It's a little preferable to be a little bit higher so that in case your engine conks out, you have a little bit more safety in that. Now I am making sure that I'm flying left, so I'm not flying away from the actual airport. And you can see our highways down there. That is the 10 freeway meeting with the 405. A really big interchange here in Los Angeles. So I do want to keep most of this footage. Of course, I could speed it up, but I want to give you an idea of real time of how long this takes. Again, you can see the little cars moving below. It is really crazy to think that. There's also a field to the left-hand side. I remember that field because it is connected to a high school, and next to it there was a shopping center, which my mom and I used to frequent when I was very little. And so it's really cool to be able to fly over that. You can see the runways coming up ahead. This is me trying to, of course, keep it straight. You can see on the horizon right below it, that is the ocean, that is the Pacific Ocean. And remember that our runway was shortened, they're 3,500 feet. So there is less of a target to hit. We can't hit on the pavement below, or that is before the new markings. And so I'm trying to keep it centered as much as possible. I'm trying to also keep the 60 knot speed. Again, I don't want to go too slow or too fast. If I go too slow, we can literally drop out of the air. If I go too fast, well, we can come in too fast and we won't be able to land. So it's really about coming in at that perfect speed as well as height. You don't want to come in too high because then your angle will be too aggressive. You don't want to come in too low because if engine conks out, it will be really difficult to land. Look on the right hand side, there's a jet waiting for us to land. My target is right in between the 2-1. That's where I roughly go for, and I'll let you listen. because we did this traffic patterns on the weekend, we are not allowed to do touch and goes. Touch and goes, after you land, you're allowed to pretty much slow down to a normal, I don't know, 10, 15 knot speed, and then all of a sudden give full throttle and take off again. Again, that's not allowed because of noise abatement procedures. You can only do that during the week. So unfortunately, we had to taxi off of the runway, which we're doing right now, and go all the way back to 2-1 and make these circles, which I guess is good because it gets me a little bit more practice with the radios and so forth. I was able to taxi back. Again, I didn't show you the whole process, but I want to show you just a few more highlights of the flying. What's up, guys and gals? Sorry, my car is on, so you might hear it in the background. So I just want to let you know, I just came back from my flight. I had a wonderful time. We did traffic patterns. It was amazing. These were all landings that I did, 6 of them. The last one, we got a big gust of wind. About when I was coming in, Sam was like, "You're gonna get the best landing right now," and all of a sudden, huge gust of wind pushed us up about 100 feet down, 50 feet down, pushed us up like another 50 feet. And so he had to take over. But other than that, I did the other 5 landings on my own, the approach. It was really cool because the first one, he was kind of instructing me through it, and the others, he kind of stayed hands off, and he didn't really instruct me to do much, unless it was something that was dire. But it was pretty good because I made mistakes, but I learned from them. But the confidence is like building. I would love to do more of these because, first of all, it improved me on the radios. I was a lot more confident to talk because I was constantly talking to the tower. And it's about that breaking that wall of being like, okay, you need to hear and you need to respond. Just like if you were talking on the phone, you want to hear and respond to the people and what they're saying. Same here. But you definitely need to respond certain things. It's not just like a conversation. You can just ignore someone if there's certain commands that you have to say back. And so there's really not an easy way of doing it other than doing it. And so I did a lot of that today. You have to almost be in constant contact the entire time, so that gives you a rough idea. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It is right now 4 o'clock. I started at 2 o'clock, 2:15, so it was pretty good. It was about 2 hours of flying, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, my confidence is continuing to build, which is one of the most important things, I think. Because if you have the skills, you have the skills, but if you don't have confidence, it's not great. In a few days, I'm going to have the completion of my ground instruction, so I'm happy about that. I'm going to come in, no flying, just ground instruction. I'm going to see if I can get some footage for you guys on that. But thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I'm really enjoying it. I'm getting closer and closer, inching closer and closer to the time where I'll solo and I'll be able to take you along and do some traffic patterns. So thank you so much, guys and gals. I do appreciate all of your love and support in these videos. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy, and subscribe for more content. You guys are amazing. Again, thank you. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, be hopeful.